You might think that Serpent is a troll item on Barn, but you would be absolutely mistaken. So here are 3 bots with 3 key lessons you have to learn before you take this item into your own games. Getting into the first bot, you can see that we are playing against Camille and Ivan, who have a lot of shielding, so Serpent is perfect here. In case you don't know what Serpent does, on top of giving you lethality and AD to hit harder with your auto attacks, it reduces both the current AD and future shields by 30% if you deal any kind of damage to them. This includes auto attacks, abilities, damage from items, and even your ult. But going back to the game, playing against Nidalee means laning phase would be quite tough, as we will explain here.
Level 1 here sucks, by the way, because they have full control over the brush, and Tristana and I are completely outranged by Lathyrus himself. But yeah, John, what you can see, you're not really playing to kill them, you're playing to make sure your Tristana can farm. With that in mind, it makes sense to play safer, but we got a little help from our jungler. Now that Nidalee is down, we try to all-in Lathyrus. But he gets out with barrier. Even though there's no way you have Serpents by this point in the game, you can already tell how getting rid of shields can help us get a few extra kills. Coming back to lane with a few items, we are immediately met with an ambush. But with that good flash portal, we not only manage to get away, but we also get a cheeky counter engage as well. Bad double stun. Bad double stun. With that, we managed to secure our first dragon.
Choosing to reset here, we buy Deadman's Plate. Now you'll notice that we are not buying Serpent's first item, and that's for good reason. By getting Deadman's first, you're getting the crucial movement speed to catch your opponents, so you can proc Serpents when we buy it later. Not only that, the extra HP and armor will allow you to stay alive as well, letting you keep the debuff on them for the entire fight. Anyways, since we're super ahead at bot, we pad down again to clear some vision, but Lathyrus decides to show up in quite a strange way.
Oh, hello. Nile!
Since they're chunked, we managed to kill them again and take the bot tower.
I'll go Serpents.
From there, we recall and we finally get to the big item, Serpent. From here, you will really be able to see the power of the item. Before that though, Seth thinks that he's going to get Serpent, but we tell him that we already have it, so he doesn't need to.
Itemize what makes sense. That's why I'm saying. Bard is the only team that doesn't. I already have. I have. Don't buy.
This is especially important because Seth could be getting items to do more damage. Because we are the champions to buy Serpents, we are effectively letting Seth do more damage since we can buy items like Eclipse or Shoten instead. As Drake is spawning, we run straight in to punish them from overextending. Even though Nidalee doesn't have a shield, you can see how the AD and lethality from the item does so much damage that we basically solo kill her. Now that she's down, we can join the fight with the rest of our teammates.
They hit us slow, no stun.
Camille decides to jump into us and our Q stun immediately shreds her shield.
Get the stun there, I don't know why she did that, but yeah.
From there, it's super easy to focus her down, then catch out the rest of the team.
And what shields?
In case you missed it, after ulting Lathyrus, our auto attacks completely shreds Ivan's shields on Ari, making it super easy to bring her down quickly and win the team fight. And as you see, just from one fight we have reduced 700 HP worth of shields in a single round of combat, which is basically 700 extra damage.
Anyways, after recording, we noticed that our team has just joined a fight we didn't want them to take since we are so far away. It could have been a bad fight, but because of how far ahead we are, and because of the movement speed from Deadmans, not only do we kill them all, but we were also rewarded for being reckless by portaling straight into their faces. Make sure that you remember this moment, because there's no way we're getting rewarded for it every game.
Anyways, while we come out of base, Zed also buys Serpent.
That was a waste of gold for him.
Then Luna joins in on the fun as well.
Luna's gonna buy it as well. Even though Zed could benefit from lethality from Serpents, the issue is that his damage is single target. On the other hand, our damage is AoE. Not only that, our Leandries would keep the shield threat on them, and our ult also procs Serpents because it procs on hit effects. Skipping forward to sieging Asakan, we notice Ahri is pushing a little too far, so we run her down again.
I love that Ivan was in there, by the way.
But again, because we have Serpents, his shields just get completely demolished.
Good job, Ivan. Like, that was a good read, honestly.
Seeing how far ahead we were, our opponent surrendered and we win our first game.
Now, before we move on to the next game, you might be saying that this game was quite the storm and we would have won without Serpents. While you're likely correct, buying Serpents made it way easier for our teammates to win the game. In fact, we were playing pretty recklessly with our positioning and portals for what would happen if we do get punished.
For this game, we are against Jinx, Lulu, Mel, Viego and Teemo. You will notice here that Lulu is the only shielding champion in their team, but because of how big her shields are, it's still a good item since it's one of her strongest abilities. Because Lulu is stronger than Bard before level 6, we want to make it easier for us to survive, and here's when we explain how we can do that.
I always try to stay on a straight line with him, but I also make it very obvious that I want the lane short. I want it to push into us because it's easier to play then. It's easier because there's less mistakes to make.
And to keep our own safety, we explain how we do it here.
The next wave here, we want to try to actually engage a bit more on it. So we want to try to freeze here, because now they're kind of stuck in a bit of an awkward position.
Another reason why we keep it frozen, it's because we know Xin Xiao is clearing down from top side to bot side. So we will hit level 3 right after he finishes Crux, which is when we also get our portal.
Don't walk over. Fuck, he walked over. He's dead. You walked way too deep.
Not the best start there. As we mentioned just now, Xin Xiao walked a little too deep and we probably should have stopped chasing a lot sooner. Now, since Jin was auto-filled and we lost 2 kills bot lane, we decided to try playing through top lane. It's also a great time to roam because Jinx is pushing into us, making it easy for Jin to just farm once he gets to his tower.
They don't know where I am, but the minute I show up...
Now, unfortunately, Teemo doesn't show up, but there's another benefit from staying in far.
But as long as I'm hidden, they can't really punish the Jin, right? Because they have to just be like, he could be right behind. But Teemo's playing extremely passive. Well played to him. That's exactly what he's supposed to do, right?
Exactly. And with Teemo staying safe, we take a recall. Seeing that mid was getting a little spicy, we decide to start pathing over there.
Nice. Super greedy.
Not too bad at all, we even find a good time to gank our own lane. With that, we take our recall and we get Deadmans. Remember from lesson 1 that you should buy Deadmans first, because you want to have the movement speed to catch up to your opponents and have the HP to stay for the entire fight. Also, reminder that Deadman's Blade adds a ton of damage. Speaking of getting tankier, we use our extra armor and movement speed by kiting out the Jins and the Lulu, which gives our Jin the space to farm without getting contested. Unfortunately, buying just one tank item is not going to make you invincible. That wasn't the worst, but it could have ended up better as well. With that, we managed to take the dragon, we recall, and buy our serpents. Before we get to the next highlight, notice what we are buying, or rather what we are not buying. That's right, there are no tank components. Since we're buying serpents right after Deadman's Blade, we are only getting offensive stats and no defensive stats. With that, we are leading to our next lesson, which is the fact that building serpents will make you squishier than a usual tank build. Because of that, if you play recklessly, you will get killed. Ironically though, we are actually not punished for it, at least at first. After our team pings 20 different places on the map, we managed to catch the Lulu out. But right underneath, the Viego gets a 1000 gold shutdown on our Aatrox, which marks the first hint of our downfall. Oh shit, that's not our Aatrox. We do try to keep our lead by taking Atakan. But didn't have ult, I guess. Well. Hit. I'll try to blast it up here. But because we bought Serpent, we can't really be a frontline, so our team gets run down. Now remember what we said about your position perfectly? Well, this happened. Oh my god, my bad. I'll take it, I guess. That is my bad. Now we probably would have died either way, but if we did go tank, we may have survived long enough for our team to follow up, but still, you can see how we have to be careful of our pathing. Because we did die, our opponents managed to take a dragon and Atakan for themselves. Even though we lost 2 objectives, we redeem ourselves just a little bit by catching our Viego. As a bonus, our Serpent Fang chunks out the shield from the Immortal Shield Bow, letting us kill him before the CC runs out. From there, we take Dragon for ourselves and start pathing top to prepare for Baron. While we do see Mel alone, we are once again reminded of lesson 2. Didn't expect 5. We definitely did not know they were all there. Looking back though, Baron was the only objective, so we should have known the enemy team was coming. Once again, this is why you have to be so much more careful with the Serpent build. Because of our mistake, it led to a butterfly effect. Because we die, our opponents could take a Baron, and because we couldn't control vision around Baron, our teammates ended up dying from making a risky play. So close. Yeah, not the best there. Our team gets blown up and we try to compensate for them, but as you can see, also not the best. To try to get something back, we try to push bots so our opponents have to use their precious Baron time pushing instead of seizing towers. But our echo stays a little too long and gets blown up as well. While we could argue Echo should have done that, remember that our 2 deaths allowed them to take Baron in the first place. Seeing that Jinx is top, we tried to make a last-ditch cross map play by rushing the dragon. Unfortunately, that doesn't go very well either. Got it. With Jin and Aatrox dead, that team pushes into our base with the Baron, and there's just not a lot we can do from there. So once again, the point I want to make with this VOD is to be much more intentional with your positioning, since you're going to be much less tanky. But with that in mind, let's show you what happens when we put both of these lessons together into one last game. For this game, we are against Ambessa, Mundo, Twisted Fate, Kog'Maw, and Karma. Compared to the last game, there's even more shielding. Ambessa has a shield on her W, she will get Eclipse, and Karma is the biggest shielding champion with an AoE shield with her empowered E, which is even stronger with Moonstone. There's so much shielding, Senna pings items for herself as well. Just like this set in the first game, since we buy it, it lets Senna buy a Collectors or Yumus, which will do more damage than Serpents. Quickly talking about the laning phase. We are both quite weak early game, and Karma is one of the most oppressive supports in the game because her only damaging ability is her Q. If we can dodge the Q, we have a few seconds to run her down and win the trade. Despite that, the laning phase is still going to be pretty hard, and Senna dies to an all-in from them as well. That's a bit unlucky. After we recall, we notice that Karma is starting to roam, so the best thing we can do is to match it. Since we have chimes and portals that let us path efficiently, we should always be able to get to a fight faster than Karma. As a bit of an example, both of us roam mid to help our mid laner, and Mundo responds by diving Senna in the bot lane. To make sure we get to Senna on time, we portal in, use 2 Ws and save her just in time. Only then does Karma catch up. Not bad at all. Now, as we are walking back to lane, we see that Senna is recalling, so we have a window to roam. Since we want to accelerate ourselves into the mid game when we are the strongest, we want to take down a tower. Looking at all 3 lanes, it looks like top lane has the tower with the lowest health, so we path over there. I am so down to try to kill this dude. As we try to catch the ambassador, she narrowly escapes with her shield and flash. Once again, it's a really good example of how Serpent would have gotten us the kill. Anyways, a few more fights happen, but they are not too relevant for the video. All you need to know is that Deadmans we bought helps us roam to the fights on time, chase people down, and get into the right position for some crucial double stuns. Ignite for the anti-heal. There we go. With that in mind, we recall and we buy the big item again. From there, since Atakan is spawning, we decide to roam bot and we run into Karma. While we use our servants to chunk out her shields, learning from lesson 2, when she hits us with the tether, we disengage with our portal. Since we know that her allies are going to path bot as well, we get out before they can catch up to us. After we take Atakan, we notice that Twisted Fate is overstaying at top, so we run over to catch him. Karma places a shield on him, but it gets immediately shredded. Because we killed him so quickly, we also turned on Karma quickly, which forced her to use flash to get out. It's not as flashy as getting a kill, but this invisible damage is what allows us to take big advantages over the course of the game. If you do want something flashy, here's a fight we take after hitting bot for Dragon. Not only do we shred the shield from Ambessa's W, but since he has Eclipse, we also shred that shield down as well. Overall, that was pretty good. After we take the Drake, we avenge Gwen's death by catching the Kog'Maw. Since we have Serpents, we remove Karma's shield, kill the Kog'Maw and manage to get out with our portal. Again, notice that we place the portal before we are at risk of dying. Since we might not be able to kill Kog'Maw in time, the portal will allow us to get out of Kog'Maw's auto attack range. But with our Deadmans for the HP and movement speed, and with Serpents for the AD and shield shred, we were able to take him down while staying alive. Now, if we put all of those decisions together, we finally get to our third lesson, or in this case, more of a mindset. That mindset is to play like a slightly tankier AD carry. What do we mean by this? If you remember all the good fights we had, we always stayed in auto attack range, but never closer unless it's a guaranteed kill. If you bought tank items, you can probably play in their face a lot more, but we can't do that because we bought Serpents instead. We are also constantly auto attacking while we are kiting away, and we always have portal as a way to escape if we might get caught. So always remember that you're not invincible, and the longer you stay alive in a fight, the more utility and damage you can provide to your team. Anyways, with the gold we just received, we complete our third item, Liandry's. Now you'll notice that this again is not a tank item, and that's for good reason. Lathyrus does damage over time, so you can extend the Serpent's debuff for 3 seconds with the burn. Now, as we come out of our base, Gwen and Udyr get caught. Because of Deadman, we were able to get to the fight on time to save Udyr. Go on here. Because of our Meeps and Lathyrus, we were also able to proc Serpents on all of them. We didn't have enough damage though, so we placed the portal early and gave Udyr an escape route. Player 5. This lost so much. We really did. We had the right idea to get out early, but because we overstayed to save Udyr, we end up dying with him. Now that they take Baron and with Dragon spawning, we have to play as 5 now to make sure we have the numbers to fight a Baron empowered team. And we start playing around Dragon. Take note of our positioning here. We are standing behind the front line and we are making sure we are not in range of Twisted Fate's stun or Ambessa's ult. In fact, we notice that Ambessa is trying to flank, so we position ourselves right here, so when Ambessa jumps in, she's surrounded between us and our allies at the Dragon. Can't take the portal. Okay. Managed to win it, holy shit. And there we go. By staying in the back, we are constantly in auto attack range with Ambessa, all without getting focused down. We are staying alive, we keep auto attacking, and we remain a constant threat to our opponent. Now that the entire team has been aced, we are able to push our waves in, breach their base, and win our final game. With that victory, let's recap what we have learned. 1. Always buy Deadmans before Serpent for the movement speed and HP. 2. Understand that you're much squishier with Serpents than any regular tank build. And 3rd, play and kite like an AD carry to keep Serpents passive on your opponent for as long as possible. If you learn when to strike and you learn how to survive, you'll become an absolutely lethal weapon that no one can ever see coming. On that note, I hope you enjoyed the video. Let us know if you like this new voiceover format in the comments, and we will see you in the next one. Thank you for watching.